What's been the most satisfying part of running Robocore to date?
So many so many kind of new things with just running a startup company in general. But I'd say that genuinely the most satisfying part is when you see somebody in the community, creating a video or blog post or something similar about the products that we've been building so hard over the years, and just seeing that kind of community adoption of the technology. That's really the best part of it.
It's nice when our children grow up, I think, and people start to get to know them. Hopefully, the children you want to get to know as well. But Peter, if you don't mind, can I bring you in for a second? There's a lot of common misconceptions around open source RPA, but what are the most common misconceptions around open source and open source RPA?
Sure. I would say probably the most common one is that it isn't as robust or doesn't have as much power as a more traditional RPA offering. I think that when you look at the what we can access in terms of the library, hundreds of libraries, thousands of keywords, we're capable of producing end-to-end complex intelligent automations just like the more traditional RPA providers would be. And it would even be our point that we can do that in a way that would be more flexible to ensure the success of those automation projects. So Robocorp is built off a community called Robot Framework, which is also Python extensible. So we like to joke here, but also say very seriously that our only limit is the world of Python. So that's probably the most common misconception, but also one of the most common strengths or one of the strongest points of Robocorp.
I think the largest community of developers in the world. But are there some
Yep.
downsides to open source software and open source RPA?
Well, certainly. I mean, this is where you would enter into the conversation of build versus buy, right? So there is a element of you needing to understand or have basic Python scripting knowledge or basic programming skills. We try to set the bar for that pretty low here. As Antti mentioned, we have some great tools. We also have great documentation to help people expand their careers. But I would say that that's the primary downside to an open source methodology, is that you're staring at a screen of code rather than as a drag and drop tooling, which can be intimidating to some people. But we're trying to make that level of intimidation relatively low and encourage people to understand, what that opens up for their world of building RPA projects.